How many shows we on, son? 70 some? That's looking to me like a hell of a run. But the sub count is low, yo. Yeah, I know. It's only a matter of time before we blow. So what the content like? Well, our kick game is strong. All the bars above average. Shows about an hour long. Okay, so what's next? Soon you'll see. Big things on the way from the KKP. So keep it tight, right? Happy New Year's Eve. We'll see all of y'all in 2020.
In between though, and like once you start, you're like, all right, well, I have to keep going now.
So when you say keep
It's like
going,
a 40-year-old virgin.
He actually
Remember 40-year-old virgin when he got like when they took him to get waxing.
Yeah.
Right. Like I understand that it hurts, but at some point you have to continue. She put a smiley face in your fucking stomach.
I didn't want to say anything, but waxing your chest is like the gayest thing you could possibly do.
Dude, like at some like there's those times where you've started, so you have to keep going.
Yeah. I mean, you're already balls deep.
Balls deep.
Balls deep.
It's like once you've gotten through, like remember getting in a swimming pool, right?
Yeah.
And like the only way for a male to really get in a swimming pool without really feeling what I would describe it as like dick in cold water. Like there's no other way to describe it. It's crude, but like as a male, if you do not jump in a pool, but instead say it's a cold pool and you know it's hot outside, but for some reason, hey, your friend's pool doesn't get warm. We've had that issue.
Right.
Like, not that we grew up in a privileged way, but somebody else we knew did, so that was good.
Yeah.
Right, so we took their pool.
You don't need to be privileged growing up. You just need to have the privilege of being around a privileged
It's kind of like you don't want a boat, but you want to know somebody that has a boat.
Right. Actually, like, it's better sometimes.
Hell yeah, man. You don't got to maintain the pool.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's really the way it goes, but like, regardless.
Which is why I think Pops actually never got a pool. He's like, I'm not going to clean it. And then you guys.
Yeah, dude, we were already going across the street to these guys' pools, and that was it.
Yeah.
But we've just already discussed the two pools that were across the street. However, we've never discussed so if you're a man and you're getting in a swimming pool, right? And it's a cold swimming pool, so you're like trying to really ease into it. Yeah, you can ease into it all you like, but once you get to your dick, once your dick touches that cold water, it's not a feeling. I don't know what it's like to have a vagina. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that the balls might be a little bit more sensitive in the pool. I'm just gonna go out and say it.
I don't know, like other people who like live along the ocean and go swimming in the ocean. It's probably different for them because they're like in warm environments.
Well, what ocean are we talking about?
Any ocean.
No.
I'm talking about when you go into like Lake Michigan or any other cold body of water,
dude,
and you're working your way. It's always cold. There's never been a time where it's been like warm.
Lake Michigan is usually cold and also filled with some sort of
nastiness,
body altering.
Probably yes, but I'm just making the point that even in like a big body of water like that, you have to inch your way in, and it's like you want to lift your sack before you.
Yeah, dude, like literally, only dudes are really gonna understand what we're talking about, right? So yeah. I don't know how many of the 130 subscribers we've got, but to the hundreds
and 30
and tens.
Yeah, whatever.
Adam is not enthusiastic about it anymore. But if you're a male, you understand. Like you have to. It's best just to jump in. Just jump in. You don't even feel how cold it is on your dick when you jump in. It's just cold altogether. But if you walk into
it's
a
still
pool,
slightly more cold.
I promise you, if you step down a ladder into a pool, it's best that pool is not cold. Anywhere near as tall as your balls,
or not cold. You know.
Well, yeah, obviously you want a warm pool.
Like you want to go into the pool, you want to introduce yourself like you're coming off a diving board. You know, just
that's the only way to really get in the pool anyway. Cannonball, right?
Yeah.
I don't really like the people who don't or have not like or aren't comfortable in water. Like, oh, I don't jump in pools. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's just like a big ass
bathtub.
No, I don't even know how to describe a pool other than, dude, it's like just this cool thing. You just jump in with a lot of water in it, and this is a really retarded way of talking, but it's a thing, you know. You fill it up with water, you jump in it,
you do stuff, you know.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, but I mean, you get the general idea.
Where did we start at? What was the first topic we had begun with?
We were just
We were talking about something we were going to get into a little bit further, and then I obviously took us off track.
Yeah, which, you know, I mean, I think when you take us off track, it's then your responsibility to get us back on track, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. How about we just introduce ourselves?
We could certainly do that, I suppose. What up, everybody, and welcome back to the Kiona and Kasson podcast. I'm your host, Adam, and I'm here today to represent for all the beard-faced men who have somebody in their life like, yo, you should trim your beard down or shave it. Now, fuck them. Persevere. Keep your motherfucking beard if that's what you want to do. This is episode number 72.
You didn't even say I was with you,
I'm here
dick.
with my brother, Osama.
You introduced your beard before you introduced me.
Shut the fuck up. You
Your
always
beard
ruin my
before
intro.
me?
Yeah, exactly.
Man, trim that shit.
No, listen, just shut up sometimes. Anyway, here with my
here
brother
with my
Osama,
beard.
and we are here to pod today, as you can clearly see. Just never let's 72 episode one time.
Yeah, what about
One time, give me the full fucking intro.
What does pod mean, really? Like, pod. What about the pod is podcasting?
Because we are in a small space, and we are confining ourselves to this area as we cast.
That's not a good enough explanation for me. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I mean, you know what? I don't know what you need spelled out for you.
POD, I get it. But what the fuck is a pod really? That has to. What is it associated to pod? See, what is it? What about podding is associated with us sitting here talking to a camera and hopefully more than 130
Should we
people?
look up what the definition of pod is, and maybe that'll help break things down a little bit?
Sure.
I feel like
Pod, I think, is like a
need a little
group
help
of
there.
people, or I don't know.
an elongated seed vessel of a leguminous plant, such as the pea, a detachable or self-contained unit on an aircraft, spacecraft, vehicle, or vessel. So, I mean,
So pretty much none of it.
that's like we have like a little confined space. In
So
a
there's
vessel.
pretty much none
The house is the vessel.
correlation between the two.
I didn't create it. Honestly, I think the main reason it's called podcast is because it started for iPods back in the day.
Oh, look at you, podding.
Podding. Yes.
That makes sense.
That's what
Actually,
people call
that was the first. I remember when iTunes, like I saw, I never once clicked podcast,
Never.
but like I was like, what the fuck is podcast?
Yeah, and I feel like every time I clicked on pod or podcast, there was like nothing in it.
Ever.
No. So I just went straight to music and then library, and that was it.
Yeah, didn't they delete iTunes now or something? I haven't used, full disclosure, I haven't used iTunes as a music source in years.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is now. It's just Apple Music, so I have that on my phone. It's not called iTunes anymore,
Ah, well,
but they still have like iTunes Store, so you can like go and buy.
I'm confused by a lot of Apple products. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't even.
They're actually like more simple than
I just-
Galaxy products.
I just bought Vivi the iWatch, or that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
iWatch it seems pretty cool. If I had an iPhone, I'd probably buy an iWatch, but since I don't see myself getting an iPhone,
Honestly, you probably should.
why?
Because they're just better, to be honest. I mean,
See, that's that sheep in you. That's that sheep in you.
I mean, Samsung is its own.
Wait, that's the sheep sound, right?
Samsung people are their own colonies.
What?
So Samsung people are their own colony too, man.
Yeah, but we're not as like what since
And listen. Full disclosure, I used to be a Samsung person. I had a Galaxy Note, and when I went to go and fucking get the Note 7, this is when they all started blowing up and shit. And I had it for like a week, and then I had to go and return it.
it blew up.
No, it didn't blow up, but they were like, you have to return these now. They were called.
Oh, I do remember you
I
had
was
that.
pissed. I was like, man, this phone was fucking dope. And then after Samsung did that to me, I was like, I'm leaving you. Goodbye.
It wasn't like a amicable relationship breakup type thing?
No, it wasn't. Like I wanted to still be part of it. You know what I mean?
You could have got the new fucking Note.
Yeah, but now after I moved, I had no choice realistically but to go to iPhone. It was like that or like that Google phone, and I didn't really want that. So after I switched to Apple, like you poured over all your information, all the data on your phone, everything. I was not trying to have to go back, and then I realized that I actually like iPhone. So
Sheep.
call it what you want. But since we are on the topic of gifts for Christmas, what was your Christmas like? How,
Oh, that's right. Did we wish them a Merry Christmas?
I don't know, but we
I
wish
think
you a
we
Merry
wished-
Christmas.
We wished them to have one. We would like to know if you did have one.
Yeah, tell us
comment
what
below.
your favorite gift was. You know,
Comment below. Let us know what your favorite part about Christmas is. Who do you what do you like the gifts? Do you like to give? Do you like to get?
What did
You
you
a pitcher?
get?
You a catcher?
Just want to know. Whoa, pause. Pause all that.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't meant for that. It wasn't like
It sounded like it was, you know.
well,
It
it's
just
not.
kinda-
It wasn't.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. How was your Christmas?
It wasn't.
I mean, obviously, we were like,
Wasn't night before Christmas.
no, not anymore. It was when the last episode dropped. Yes.
Twas the weekend after.
Is Twiz a thing? Is that
If Twiz has to be.
maybe-
Twiz the
maybe
night
it wasn't.
before.
I think if you put T in front of most things that start with a W, it works. It wouldn't.
It twouldn't. Twouldn't. What'd you ask me?
I asked you about your Christmas. I know we were together for the majority of that day,
Yeah, buddy.
but you know, the viewers weren't with us. So
Christmas was good, man. I'm pretty sure you could vouch for it. Christmas Eve I spent with my girl and her family.
right,
That was a cool little thing, man. We played this game called Left, Right, Center.
yeah,
You've heard of this,
yeah,
right?
the dice. The
Yeah.
dice thing, right?
For the listeners who are not privy, I don't know if that's the word I want to use, but either way,
You ain't up on game.
if you ain't up on game, right? There's this game called Left, Right, Center. It's a dice game with 3 dice, and each die has a left, a L for left, a R for right, a C for center, and then 3 more dots,
Which
right,
makes
on each side.
a whole lot of sense if you think about it.
Right, so there's 3 dots. You start with $3 each. Everybody has to start with 3 singles.
Yeah.
Okay, no more, no less, but they have to be 3 singles. So I throw the dice, and I throw all 3 of them, and whatever. Let's say LLC comes, right. So I have to give 2 of my dollars to the person on my left, and then the $1 goes into the center.
Right.
If you throw a dollar into the center, it's gone for the
remainder of the
that's
game.
it's the end of it. Like
So
that's like
the
free
middle
parking.
is the pot, pretty much.
It's like free parking,
right.
right? So you go through everybody until everybody. There's only 2 people left, right? And the last person left that doesn't throw a C for the money to go into their last dollar to go into the center, they now have the opportunity to throw however many dice they have, up to $3, 1 to 3, right? And that's the thing. You throw as many dice as you have dollars.
Yeah. So when you're the last person, the idea is if you get anything but L or R, like if you get the dot, then you keep the money. If you get L, the dollar
the dot
passes
means
around.
you're safe.
Right. So you're passing that last dollar around. Whoever rolls the dot wins what's in the middle.
Right, so you can win what's in the middle. If you do not throw a dot, though, it rolls over to the next game, right? And we played like, I don't know, 7 games of that shit. The last 3
No, we
rolled
never had it
over.
rolling over like that. We would just always make it L or R, and
Oh, no,
whoever like rolls the dot at the end, if it goes into the center, then that carries over to the next game.
Okay. No. What we were doing was like, if it rolls a dot, you get it. Otherwise, it goes to the next one. The last 3 games rolled over to like a $75 pot from like $3. It's pretty ill.
Yeah.
So like, some kid won, and I was second to last. Like, of course,
You have mad fucking singles when you leave.
Oh man, it was hilarious. It's hilarious. That's a good game. We should definitely play that more often.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
We watched. We sat. We ate. I know they were watching The Grinch. It was hilarious. At one point, they were watching it, and somebody had control of the iPad.
Yeah.
So they decided to put some Christmas music on, right? And all I hear is, "We were almost finished with that." Like they changed the TV on them. It's one of those things that make you laugh.
Yeah.
And then
it's always dope when it works out that like your girl's family celebrates on Christmas Eve and then we celebrate Christmas Day.
man, that really
It solves
helped.
a lot of problems.
It does solve a lot of issues. A lot of issues. And she tends to be away for Thanksgiving, so that works usually. And we usually are okay with spending it apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Christmas Day, man, we woke up, we went to the family's house, we opened up gifts, we did a Secret Santa for the first time.
Yeah.
Secret Santa's funny.
Secret Santa never remains a secret. I knew who everybody had.
Yeah, but you live in a house and you're nosy as fuck.
No, I'm not even nosy. Like, literally, it's so you asked me for my opinion on something, and then somebody else asked me, and then before I knew it, I knew who 4 people had, and it was like, this is not hard anymore now. Like,
yeah,
it's
I
pretty
mean, the
obvious who
process
has
of
it.
elimination. And then we went over to the family's house and we kicked it for the day, man. We had a few, had a few beers, ate a lot of food, bullshitted, and
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's usually the last time you see those folks for the remainder of the year,
Yep.
whether you want to or not. That's just the way that things work out. I think everybody goes through that though as you get older,
Yeah.
right? The fam isn't as connected.
Yeah. That's. I mean, for us, that happened a long time ago. It was like when the matriarch.
Yeah.
passed
Once
away,
once
you know?
our grandmother passed, but I think that's a lot of families. Once your grandma passed, I think that that tends to be the glue. And
Well, especially like in like an Italian family, like
yeah, and that's the Italian side. Which obviously the Arab side doesn't celebrate it.
I mean, some of them who like grew up here,
American, yeah, but
quiet as kept. They
they're
celebrate.
Americanized like a motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
But but yeah, like I think a lot of families tend to have that. The grandma is the glue, and once
Yeah.
she passes, or what have you, like I think every occasion, right? We used to get together for every like occasion throughout the year. Most of the time, every one that comes around, the glue becomes a little less. What's the word I'm looking for? Sticky.
Yeah, I mean it's true
You
because
know?
we used to honestly spend Easter, like 4th of July, whatever. All those holidays we'd be together. Like
Oh yeah,
grilling and
dude!
shit.
Like Memorial Day type shit, like Labor Day. There'd be at least a barbecue or whatever, and as after they passed, like she passed in '99, and after that, like every year it got a little less.
a little less more.
Yeah, right. I can't come. It becomes a little less likely that you guys get together,
Right.
and that's unfortunate, but.
Yeah, I mean it's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean that's how it goes with almost everything in your life. Once you become an adult and you have, your own responsibilities that like you have to take care of before everything else, then that's just the way it works.
Right, and obviously everybody gets like, as you get older, everybody, all the branches of the family start to kind of divide a little bit, spread out, and
Yeah, man. And as you get older, obviously, you just, as adults, maybe you don't get along as you did when you were kids or what have you. So it is what it is. But there's still always going to be love. It's just you see each other. You do see each other less and less, and so it's always cool when you see each other. But it's just knowing that usually it's not going to be again until the next year.
right. Yeah, and I mean that's basically what it is.
It's just real
but-
shit. It's just the way things work out, man.
for sure. Yeah. So any like standouts at all from Christmas for you?
Standouts? What you mean? Like,
I don't know, just anything like family members you wanted to see that showed up, particular items you received or whatever.
I got
Not that that's what it's about necessarily, the the items part, but
no. I mean, I got some kicks and some just stuff. I honestly, most of the stuff I got that I actually was something I wanted that I can use.
yeah.
So I'm happy that I got it.
It's funny how I mean outside of shoes, how like the wish list kind of changes.
Dude, what I didn't get that I really wish I would have gotten was some socks and some more socks.
Yeah.
But I'll go get some myself.
Yeah, socks are always a nice addition.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. You and Vivi got me the same pair of kicks.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yep.
I was like, oh, word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had Sam in the Secret Santa, so
Yeah, I did not know that. I would talk. He was so lucky. I would just sit there and talk to him about shit. Like I didn't think he had me for some reason. Like, oh, he definitely
well, at
doesn't
some
got
point
me.
the conversation just becomes a casual
Like,
talk.
he's definitely not got me, right?
Yeah.
But no, you did.
Yeah, I
You
did.
Oops.
I did got you.
You
Well,
did got me.
where applicable. I don't know.
Word.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
man.
it was a pretty good year. I've been or for Christmas anyway. We'll get into like that rest of the year shit later on. But
yeah. We already know this is the end of the year, Christmas, then New Year's. Right after the other.
yeah. So Daniel got the Nintendo Switch, right?
Yeah.
So he downloaded Mario Kart the other day, and we were just sitting there fucking playing Mario Kart for like 3.5 hours.
Really? Like on the TV?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, dude, that's a really cool little system that they Nintendo decided to come back with.
I would like to. I would like to get one eventually. Maybe when the price drops just a bit.
Yeah.
It's a little hefty on the price tag.
Which I mean, I suppose like Nintendo obviously had Game Boy, so they kind of just combined their two concepts of systems.
Yeah, and then everybody wants the nostalgia of it. So like, if they incorporate like a newer type of gaming system with the graphics of today, with
Right.
all of the games of yesteryear, right? For everybody like us and the older who want to play with the games that came out, like that introduced them to video games and all of that.
Yeah.
Then that's a whole nother. That's a market that you can tap into, people love.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of money in nostalgia. Nostalgia's a feeling, right? So like, you appeal to somebody's feelings, and
you get into somebody's sentimental, like, whatever bag, and then it's something else.
yeah, for sure. And like, he was going through and scrolling the games, and it's just like titles that I haven't seen in a long time. So I'm like,
dude,
oh shit.
when we were playing with the fucking PS1, the classic.
Yeah,
we were playing Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
Dude, we played. I think we could have sat there and played it all afternoon. The same fucking players we had, and the same fucking level.
Oh yeah,
and been just as fun.
it goes by fast as shit. Like,
yeah, because we've said it before. We're gamers from back in the day. Like, we're not that we haven't played and dabbled in the Call of Duties and gotten pretty good. Adam used to be pretty good at that shit. I was decent, but like we're gamers from back when games weren't really online.
I mean, I'm super, of course, grateful for all the updated graphics.
Oh, word. But there's something to.
Well, I'm saying even like when they make like remastered versions of those games,
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're playing the PlayStation 1 Classic, and the graphics were still the graphics.
Oh, dude, my eyes were killing me. But there's something to those games, right? Those ones that didn't before the open world, right? Like before there was like the Grand Theft Autos
well, even because in like 96 or 97, that was the Grand Theft Auto release for PlayStation 1, and I mean it was open world and it was Grand Theft Auto, but it was like terrible. You had
man.
You had like the overhead.
But no, but I'm talking about like Grand Theft Auto 3 kind of like reshaped the landscape in terms of open world concepts. Like that was the first, like, because there were games like back in the day like Doom and Quake and all of those that like computer games and shit where you had large levels,
right?
But even GoldenEye and shit, but like nothing had as large a level as Grand Theft Auto did when it first came out.
No, for sure. I mean the amount of like just graphics and fucking that
the level
Auto
of detail, what you can do, like getting on trains and like like opening and busting windows in cars. Like they obviously progressed as Vice City came along and all of that. But man, there's something and some sort of charm to those games. Like so, Twisted Metal is always one of my favorite games. Along the lines of like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1.
Right.
The
Mortal Kombat 1.
Kombat 1. Like, even though that's even going back a little further, right? Like, Sonic had very large levels, but it also was it was on a 2D type of 3D level, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, the way they put it together was just getting to that point where they were able to make 3D.
Real smooth and
that was another game changer there, Sonic.
Yeah.
I think Sonic was really dope. But yeah, Adam got that PS1 Classic, and we were fucking with that. That's a fun little thing, man.
Yeah,
I was hoping you might bring it, but
I thought about it. I was like, man, this thing could soak up a lot of time.
A lot of time, dude. We should.
Like, we'll be here trying to pod and like.
Would you guys be interested in watching me and Adam Twitch some bullshit?
You know what's funny is I turned on the Grand Theft Auto 1.
I asked like there was going to be an answer,
right? And it said something about like this is an unauthorized reproduction of this game. I was like, interesting that you would put that in there.
PS1.
Yeah.
Remember, I was telling you some of those are unauthorized.
Yeah.
But I like that. I also want the Nintendo, the NES, the original. But that one's a little harder to get to.
Yeah, it's all online.
Yeah,
you can find it.
But yeah, Christmas was kind of successful, man. It was always fun to see. It's always fun to hang out with the family, and it is what it is. But
get that nice little 2-day break.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the holidays can become stressful. If you allow them to. A lot of people are like, I'm buying this many gifts for this many people. I'm like, nah.
No. That's why I like the grab or the Secret Santa concept a little bit better.
Yeah, I do. It was cool. Although I do like to buy for everybody. At the same time. So,
yeah,
but
see, the problem is I'm always like late, right? Like,
so you got more to buy.
Like I'm like sitting here scrambling from like December 14th on to figure out like, okay, what do I got to get people?
Oh yeah, but that's kind of the fun of it. Like not that it's fun, but it's like I got to get this shit done.
Yeah, I mean, fucking what's that Sinbad movie? Yeah,
Jingle All the Way, where he's got to get the fucking action figure.
Yeah, man. But
Jingle All the Way is a great movie. People that's underrated as fuck. Sinbad's underrated.
Yeah,
Sinbad's hilarious.
Sinbad is hilarious.
House Guest.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
House Guest was funny. What's the movie where he's the first kid or whatever it is, where he's the Secret Service agent?
Yeah,
yeah, that's a good fucking movie too.
Yeah, he had some low key parts that were like, this is a pretty funny role.
Hell yeah, Sinbad was funny, man. He was underrated I don't think back in the day, but I think he's underappreciated now.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you don't hear much about him now,
Yeah. No, well, I actually follow him on Instagram. He does some stand-up, I think, some shows here and there.
Yeah, which would make sense.
You know.
I mean, you got to keep the income coming.
I noticed he's doing the dyeing of the hair, which is unfortunate, but like you got to keep your appearances up for Hollywood, I guess.
They were like, "Yo, Sinbad, you got to color that hair. Like, you can't go gray.
Yo.
Gray is not working very well for you."
Speaking of that, man, I could never do that. What the fuck is the name of that shit the motherfuckers do with their beard? Fuck, I can't remember. But the black dye they make it to make it appear thicker,
like the
or
Coleman
more
dye or some shit.
Yeah. I forget the name. I can't. It's escaping me right now. But yeah, I cannot do that.
It's
like
a
what
good
happened?
thing it's escaping you. Escape it.
I could not do that, man.
Yeah, no.
I could not.
No, I've had people ask me because, like, as you can see, my beard it has little tones of red in there for God knows what reason. And people ask me, "Oh, did you dye your beard that color, motherfucker? Who's dyeing their beard? First of all, at all, and then why am I dyeing it with like red in it?
I don't know. Maybe you like red in it.
It's a stupid question to ask somebody.
No. I'm not doing that. That weird whatever shit.
No,
Yep.
definitely not that.
Not that.
Well, moving on from Christmas, we can look forward to the new year now.
Mm-hmm.
So this episode, I believe, will be out on New Year's Eve.
All right.
So
Bring your New Year's and listen to us, guys.
one last December episode for you. One last 2019 episode.
Right.
We will obviously be in 2020 next year. So
Right. The decade's over, man.
Yep.
The decade's over. We'll officially have potted in 2 different decades.
It's weird. Like some of the things that I look
Fucking
back.
veterans, man.
Right.
2 decades, 3 years.
It's like those 2 weeks I spent in 2019.
No, it's like the 2 weeks you spent in the 80s, motherfucker. They're short-lived.
Well, I mean, shit. I didn't produce me, so there's nothing that can really have been controlled there. But yeah, 2020. When you look back at 29, well, all of this last decade to 2010, it's like there's a lot of things that I forgot about that occurred in this particular decade, right? And I don't really have too many examples for you. I was thinking about it the other day, so
I meant to get much more prepared for this this episode.
But like, so Good Kid, Mad City, I think was one of the big early 2010 releases. I want to say 2011, 2012, maybe it came out. And I bring that specifically because I think
I think it was 12, but maybe 11.
Because I think to me that's probably my favorite album of the decade.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Man, I really don't know what my favorite album of the decade would be. I'd have to think a bit further on this. Man, I wasn't prepared. You should have asked me this question before. Fucking cocksucker.
Sometimes you just gotta spring things up.
You're gonna just spring this question up on me without fucking.
This is what you get for ruining my intro.
Son of a bitch.
What's your most listened to or most visited album
of the again, dude? What is this?
Bro, what better time is there to ask you?
This reminds me of the episode
of December.
This reminds me of the episode of Parks and Rec, right, where they you're familiar with the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Leslie got they told her that they couldn't represent her campaign anymore?
Yeah.
And then she went into the room and all of her people said they were going to do something, like they were like, we're going to run your campaign, right? So everybody was like, da da da. They were like, April Ludgate, da 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 da, Don Omegle, blah, 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 blah. Everybody introduced, and then she looks at Gary or Jerry, whatever they call him in the beginning and the end. And he's like, nobody told me that we were doing this. I'm sorry. He's like, I'm sorry, Leslie. Nobody told me anything. And everybody's just like looking at him like, that's how I feel right now. I wasn't prepared for this, you cocksucker.
I mean,
I should have been, but I wasn't.
Listen, it's like when when you're in high school and the ACT comes around, right? You're trying to like cram, study, and remember all the things you learned in the last 4 years. You either know it or you don't know it. You know what I mean?
I didn't cram at all.
Exactly.
I didn't do anything.
But that's
I had to pee so bad during my ACTs.
Well, that's not the point of this. I don't care about your ACT experience.
I did. I scored the worst on the time that on the section that I had to pee with during. It's fucked up.
You know, it's funny. I was watching
that literally was like, nope, you're stupid now. I'm like, what? I had to pee.
I was watching a Grand Tour again.
Dude, it's my dick's fault.
They were
sorry.
They went to like, I forgot what the name of the place is, but it's like right on the border of Russia, pretty much, right? And they went to go and find a track there. and they all chose whatever car they were gonna do. And the guy who controls like the producer or whatever, he's like, okay, so we saw what your lap time was in these cars, and that's great. He's like, but now you're gonna go and drink 3 pints of water, wait 20 minutes, and see how much time your time improves after you have to pee.
Dude, like, can you like you? And I think I've seen that episode. Like
When the pressure's on, sometimes you just you just
heat
crack.
is on.
Yeah.
I can picture that playing like in his head. Oh, on the streets.
Oh, what's the name of the main host on that show again?
Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah, so he peed himself.
Like, fuck it, I'm just gonna piss. And
He was
drive.
like, yeah, he's like, I was trying to rush to get over here, and then when I turned the second corner, that problem kind of solved itself. I was like, well, it's pretty fucked up.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious, dude. Like, you hit a bump, like, oh, well, it's good out now.
But all that to say, you should just know, or at least have an idea of the album that you would have liked or listened to the most.
I am drawing a blank.
What else is new?
Speaking of drawing a blank, I think if I were to draw a blank canvas, it would be better than if I were not to draw a blank canvas, because my art skills are shit.
So you're saying instead of drawing on the blank canvas, you're just drawing a
No,
blank
like
canvas.
if there was a blank canvas,
So you're just
right?
drawing a square on a piece of paper, like canvas.
Canvas. I've drawn a blank canvas for you. I don't understand art galleries.
So are you stalling
somebody-
or?
So somebody came in here and just hung their art, and now I gotta come look at this
Like
shit.
when Marlon became an artist and he started like slapping his shoe on it.
Dude, when he fucking bent his whole foot back and just slammed it on the. Yo, Marlon Wayans is mad flexible. Fucking
Yo,
pause like a
for real.
motherfucker, man.
That shit would have broke anybody else's knees. Like, whoosh.
Dude, they were like super impressed by his art.
Yeah.
Dude, like just literally put some paint on your butt and just and
This-
like fart at the canvas. Like,
I think this
like,
does a
there's
good job.
Art.
This does a good job of showing how stupid people in the world are. Like, okay, so
listen,
certain
there's good art. I'm assuming there's good art.
Listen, okay,
Art's good, right?
Art's
I don't
good.
know. Put it on the wall.
art's good, and I'm impressed by it. Let's
This is my art.
look at the most one of the most popular paintings of all time. Right, is Mona Lisa. Okay, so
Who is not hot, by the way?
no, not at all.
What is so hot? What is so good about the Mona Lisa?
Because people are fucking weird, dude. Like, I
Mona
don't
Lisa
know.
looks like Picasso drew her. Didn't he draw her?
I think it's
No,
Picasso. I'm not
no,
100%
it's
sure.
impossible. Well, if that's the case, maybe that's right. I said he did look like he drew her,
Yeah,
but that was an exaggeration.
I don't know.
If he really
Regardless-
drew that ugly Mona Lisa, he drew.
regardless, right? So now you flash forward when it was, I don't know when the Mona Lisa was fucking painted, but
On
now
acid. That's when it was painted.
now when you look at the graphics and shit, like artists have to do that. There are people who draw better art than the Mona Lisa every single day.
I don't know why it's so highly coveted.
I don't know either, and people like
There's only one art piece I know and that I kind of like is that Starry Night by Monet.
monetary moons.
No,
and
don't you guys know the
swirls in
guy?
sky.
He's an artist. His name's Monet.
Why is that?
I know it's Monet, but Monet sounds like I don't know. I'd rather be
Monet
called
is pretty hilarious too.
Monet, 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 Monet.
Yeah, I don't know. The art world is very. I think it's like anything else. The demand creates the price.
Who's demanding Mona Lisa?
People were
Like,
demanding
if you're
Mona
gonna
Lisa a long time
let's
ago.
be
so now
let's be
they're
real.
like-
If you're hanging a broad up on your fucking wall, you're not gonna hang up Mona Lisa.
but wait a
she
second.
looks like the bitch. Like she looks like she could be. Remember the dude in I forget his name, but the evil guy from Ghostbusters. Like his wife or some shit. Like Mona Lisa could be the evil dude from Ghostbusters. Oh, I almost had it on my head, on my the tip of my tongue, the name of that dude. But either way, it looks like the bitch he courted, and
It's
now
it's because her eyes can follow you.
her eyes follow you.
I think like that's part of the.
What if somebody bought?
but people
What
don't.
if somebody bought it and burned it?
It's not for sale anymore though, right? They keep it in some museum, and they don't sell
Dude, that
it.
ain't the original Mona Lisa. That shit fucking got lost a long time ago.
So all I have to do is give my shit like a weird French name, draw a weird picture, give it a French name, and then put a label on it like.
I'm gonna call myself
$9,000.
Claude McClit.
That's
Claude McClit.
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 Next time I need
So
like
when you
20
read it, it
grand,
says
I'm just gonna
Claude
go
my
and draw some picture and
Claude my clip.
yeah,
But not Claude my clip. My new French name. Claude my clip. Je ne sais
word
Je
feng
ne sais
shui,
quoi.
you know?
Je ne sais quoi. I know that. I don't know what that means, but I know the word. Claude McClit knows fucking French. I don't know shit about French.
Well, then how could you beat Claude McClit?
I'm only him when he comes out.
Pause.
Pause?
So, have you come up with your album yet, or?
Dude, I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah, I figured that much.
Okay.
I'm not forgetting.
All right, so let's go through artists, right?
Right.
So they said Drake is the artist of the decade. I'll give him that 100%. He owned the charts.
Yeah.
Right? He owned the charts. It's
I'd say
not
that's
even
fair.
it's not even debatable. He did. Jay didn't really own the charts. He was doing more business the last
Not necessarily true. Not necessarily
he
true.
released albums in the early 2010s.
He released. So I think Magna Carta, Holy Grail was like no, because that
Which
was like
is a great album.
2012.
I
Maybe.
enjoy Magna Carta Holy Grail.
Maybe he had Blueprint 3 before that.
Blueprint 3 came out maybe 09, dude.
I don't know. I think it's 2010. Release.
Regardless, that's not going to be my favorite of the
Well, no.
decade.
But I'm just saying, like, he's released a pretty decent amount of music, honestly.
Man, dude, this is a more difficult. I don't know that I have a favorite because the way we've consumed music of recent years, it's hard to.
Yeah, but like, you have to have a personal like, hey, this is probably like my favorite one of the year. I mean, of the.
I don't
decade.
have one right now. I don't. I'd have to
I
think
guess,
about
like,
this
this
further
year-
and really scroll through my Spotify and my iPod and.
This last
Yes,
10
I
years
still
is
got
rough.
my iPod. The fuck.
This last 10
Shit
years
is very
is a bit
efficient
rough.
in storing music.
This last 10 years is a bit rough because we have really like full blown entered the digital age, and you know
That's
there's-
what I'm getting at.
So there's mad music, but like
What's your
there's gotta
fucking
be a
favorite?
standout. I'm telling you, my favorite album, I'm pretty sure, is Good Kid, Mad City. That's like the one that I remember, just kind of like remembering the most. You know what I mean? The one that I sat with probably the longest when it came out.
Man, I do not have a favorite right now. And I don't know if I'd ever be able to come up with a favorite for a decade. It's a long time to come up with a favorite album that you've listened to from it.
Well, fine. Then refine that. This is the last year of this decade, the 2010 decade. What was your favorite album this year to cap off the decade?
This year, man, honestly. So I'll tell you who I thought made some pretty good music this year. I thought Currency really did his thing, but he continues to do so.
Right.
I think that both Jim Jones and Cameron put out 2 good albums this year.
Yeah.
I
would agree.
think Jim's was pretty damn good, and I enjoy the Cameron. This Purple Haze too.
You've always been a Dipset head, though.
Yeah, Dipset is but like even beyond that, like 2 older cats that like are still that are like 40 plus and still can be relevant in the rap game is some like you see Fab released Summertime Shootouts 3.
Yeah.
That was a decent album. It was
Yeah.
all right. But at the same time, he's still very relevant within the rap game
Right.
at this age and this juncture in his career, which is fucking really dope. So I wouldn't put his up there as my favorite music of the year, but I'll say that they did Currency, and there's probably been more R&B that I've listened to, but I don't know that the R&B I'm listening to right now is like the most current, or if it's just artists I've found later on in their
Yep.
career, or in their maybe a year or 2 after that offering of that music.
Most of the newer big R&B acts I haven't brushed up like I should have yet. And obviously I think even R&B game is like largely female run right now.
No, I mean there's a lot of dudes, man. Like there's like Daniel Caesar, Sir, man. I have a hard time remembering their names off.
Yeah,
the
but then you
top.
got like your Summer Walker and her. And,
Summer Walker, her,
LMA.
Black,
and-
but Black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got Black. You still have like people like Eric Bellinger, Tory Lanez. Jacquees.
I just feel like the biggest noisemakers, at least in like the last year and a half or so in R&B, have been female artists.
Oh, females are running almost both aspects. Like even in rap, like they're doing their thing. You know,
although that thing is that like woman wave, it's still there, but it's like the male wave is starting to come back a little bit harder right now. You know, because you don't have like a Nicki release or a Cardi release that has been kind of topping things right now. You know,
yeah, maybe some Meek. When did the Meek come out? Last year?
Championships. I want to say it was in the beginning of this year.
I forget. Definitely not no Eminem shit.
No. Griselda has been running
Griselda's
the game pretty hard right now.
Doing their thing, man. Like I think rap's headed in a very good direction in the next decade.
Yeah.
I think motherfuckers are really starting to cherish lyrical or you know, for the longest time it's cool to show emotion in rap, and I appreciate that nowadays. Like, that's why Joe Budden has always been a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
But like now rap, I think lyricism is becoming
relevant again,
and even more than that, like important. And there's different levels, right? Like Griselda's satisfying the itch for those who like that street rap, you know, like that you know, talking about, you know, that coke rap and shit like that. People like that. That's some of my favorite rap to listen to.
Yeah.
But then there's even those, you know, that are you know, feeling like that YBM Cordae.
Yeah.
Like he's a throwback to like back in the day type of rap, and I enjoy that.
I was questionable when I first heard about
Paak.
him, and then actually like listened in. I was like, oh, it's actually.
Yeah, you know, because they're saying Game is done. You know, the Fat Joe just released something.
But Game had a great decade too.
Game had a pretty good decade. I wouldn't say great, but he had a pretty damn good decade.
I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I think it was pretty one of like so he came out in 2005. So the first 5 years of his career wasn't this decade, but I don't think it was. I think it was a stronger decade, like from 2010 for him.
I mean, he was very consistent, like just like Ross was very consistent. Like him and Ross have pretty much been in terms of their timeline for their careers.
Yeah,
kind of came out the same time. Been their careers have progressed kind of similarly, just from different coasts,
the
different styles.
I think the first half of this decade was much different than the second half, especially for a lot of those artists that like. I mean, obviously, like Game and Ross are still, you know, busy putting out music, but I just think like the level or the content or the you know, subcategory of rap, whatever, changed from like 2014, 15.
Well, look at where people are. Like, look at where Kanye is at compared to 2010 to 2020, right? Like, look at like who's reigning. Like Lil Wayne's reign of rap is kind of finished at this point.
Oh yeah. I don't even say kind of, like it's
Eminem's kind of been less of a highly coveted artist, right? Although the stands are still out there, and we've talked about your unobjective ass anyway. But look at the way the rap has kind of evolved. Who's on top? Drake. That's why you got to give Drake so much fucking credit. This decade, he hasn't fucking dropped. Like, he said something I was watching. He was on Rap Radar. I've kind of gone through half the thing, but he's like, I don't get too invested in the highs or the lows because that's how you stay focused. I don't get invested in those too highs or those really low lows. You know, I just keep going and keep focused, and I can appreciate that. And he's that's why you got to give him a lot of credit. You got to give people. Look at Joe. Actually, look at Joe Budden, man. You got to give Joe a hell of a lot of credit. If we had a fucking round of applause, I'd give him that because in 2010, Joe was nowhere near what the Joe Budden today is. Like Joe Budden today is completely different.
But I would say 2010, Joe Budden's music was reaching a peak.
No, I wouldn't say so either.
No, not like it was like at its best.
No, I wouldn't say so.
And I wouldn't say that it would decline afterwards.
At its best? No, I think
that's when
Joe's
he hit, like,
last album, Rage in the Machine, best album he put out. Like and I love the mood music, but I think it was his best combination of emotional rap and just being able to spit. Yeah. The best combination and the best production and the best like finished product that he released was, I think, Rage in the Machine.
I think like when Slaughterhouse was in just like a mixtape stage and they weren't like quite on, they didn't release their first solo yet, right? Or their first like studio. That's when like all of those guys pretty much were starting to hit like they hit their stride.
But they would do it collectively.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about Joe as like his only like Mood Music.
Yeah, but Joe doesn't matter because
the Mood
even on
Music
those
series are like is probably my favorite series from any rapper.
even on those Slaughterhouse albums, he still had like 2 verses worth of bars.
Oh no, he was a monster, a monster. But I think at the end,
Joe can't write
his
16.
what do they call that? That magnum opus or whatever. Like
Yeah.
his that was his shit, man. Like I think Rage in the Machine was great. But I'm more or less just talking about like Joe, his persona, what he's created for himself, this success he's having in this new arena of things.
Well, I mean, and while it's new, it's like relative because Joe's always been kind of in this like media space. Not always.
You're right.
But,
you're
like,
right. But
so-
I'm talking about how.
But
he's
then
viewed,
even
how
the
he's
podcast,
viewed.
yeah, for sure.
Not
'Cause-
like what he's been doing, but like
No,
how
I-
he's viewed as he does it now.
I
Like,
agree, but the podcast is a large part of that too. And if you take like he started 5 years ago now, right?
yeah, but he's been
So-
doing. He did Joe Budden TV back in the day. and
Yeah.
all
I'm
that.
saying the podcast in general. So he started 5 years ago, and like it was people knew about it, but it wasn't like the phenomenon it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like obviously Spotify recognized the influence he's having with it, so they paid him for it. But just like you get a different Joe Budden now.
And that's all it is. He's evolved, but his evolution is like something I don't think anybody could have ever seen back then.
Yeah.
And that's really what I'm getting at. Like, if you look at it, like things have changed so drastically in the last 10 years in terms of technology. Dude, we went from Obama to Trump, like for real crazy. We ain't political. We're not going to get there, but you already know where y'all already know where we stand on that.
Yeah.
Man, think about it. What do you? I mean, look at what's happened in like the last 10 years. Like, LeBron was at Miami, went to Cleveland, now he's in the Lakers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, think about that. Like, the Warriors, like the Warriors run, they might have the greatest run in the last 20 years. You know what I mean? For sure. Not even might, for sure.
Yeah.
Even though the Spurs still exist, and I hate the disrespect they get. Whatever.
Right.
Sneakers. Look at what do you think about like the way sneaker culture has changed over the last because I mean, we should probably talk about what we got because we know we have people that like to
Right, for sure.
hear. But like, what do you think about the way sneakers have changed since 2010?
Again, I think like
Because there's been a drastic change. There was a year in there early on that completely switched up the way sneakers were.
this decade had the benefit, and I would think at the same time, in some ways, a detriment. The benefit of the internet, right? So like sneaker culture, I think, has always been like a thing. Like you look back in 96, 95, you had the Fresh Prince rocking fucking Jordans every episode, right? So the sneaker culture was always kind of in existence, and as long as like the hip hop culture have been around, they've been hand in hand. But now you got like so much availability online, and the aftermarkets have been able to grow, and people who
Resellers and
reseller,
bots.
yeah, right. So you got like the demand has changed, and the way that people are able to consume these shoes have changed. So now, like, I don't know. It's just like the shoe thing is more. It's more in your face, right? Everybody knows something about shoes for the most part. There's so many.
That reminds me, before we forget, like the thought about that, like the streaming of music in the last 10 years. I didn't want to not to go jump off topic again, but
so I
like
said, like this decade had the
Spotify
benefit.
Spotify and Pandora didn't exist
Right.
very much in 2010. I don't know if at all.
Like, I don't even know if SoundCloud was around.
Yeah,
then,
I think SoundCloud was around. SoundCloud was around because there were SoundCloud rappers even before then, I think. But I think these other ones weren't really around. These where they have the abundance of almost all the music you could think of. You search it and it's there. Like music has changed the way we consume it so well. Like I remember early 2010s, I was buying CDs.
Yeah. Now the great thing is you don't even have to buy it. Like you get a subscription. Like I have Apple Music, right? So $5.99 a month, and every album that comes out, I can download all of them and listen to them as long as I want.
Same here.
Like
Same with
so
Spotify.
It's nice to not I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still kind of pissed that I have like 300 CDs and I can't play them anywhere.
Yeah.
But like, it's something that like it's a collection that I always cherish too. You know, so it's like
100%.
whatever. But now, yeah, you can just the music availability, the internet opens so many doors for so many large, just like markets.
Yeah, I think, just jumping back to sneakers. Like, I mean, so I remember when the Concords came out back in 2011, like the first time they reintroduced them again after a long ass time.
Yeah.
Looking back, they're not my favorite rendition of them after they've come out again a couple times. The ones with the 45s on them.
Yeah.
Like a year or two ago. Those I wish I had, but I don't. Anyway, those came out in 2011, I believe, those Concords. And I worked downtown, and me and my boy, we left work and we walked straight to Nike Town. We did this 2 years in a row. We did that with these, actually, these cool gray joints. These came out, I think, 2010. And then the Concords came out 2011. And I remember we walked downtown. We walked from work down to Nike Town. And they wouldn't let us line up until like 7 p.m. And at 7 p.m., we all, motherfuckers were all on every corner except the Nike Town corner. And as soon as they said they allowed it to, everybody ran across the corner and lined up. I was both times I was probably within the first 100, 150 at the most, but probably less.
Yeah.
And like the line for during the Concords though, that shit wrapped around the block. So from Michigan Avenue, the block after it, I forget what is that, like St. James or St. Clair or whatever it is. It went down to that street, made the left north, and then wrapped back around. And I think that's like Erie and Michigan. Like the line wrapped completely around.
Yeah.
And like, dude, I just remember like thinking, one, you're not gonna get it if you're all the way back there, but two, like you're just not. And like I do remember like there was a lot of instances of fights and some violence going on, and like I think that sparked a lot of like the change that happened, where you're not lining up at midnight anymore. You're not.
I mean, those releases still exist, but they're like now you can wake up at 8:59.
Yeah, it's in the morning. It's not lining up in line with a whole bunch of people who
you wait
may
in
not
line
get it.
Virtually, so that's like takes a little bit of that danger out of it.
100%. But the problem with that is now you open up to the bots, and the bots are just a complete disadvantage provides a complete disadvantage to those who don't have them. And it's like
for every solution, there's a fucking problem.
For people who want one pair or just want to have a couple pairs, or is really just trying to get that first joint, like they've never had them before. It's hard because now people are fucking, creating this space where you can't get them because, they're trying to
plug, man,
trying
you
to sell
cherish
them.
that person.
Hell yeah, and I don't have a sneaker plug at the moment, so that's the worst.
If I'm willing to drive far enough, I have sneaker plugs, but it's like it's just
nothing is that important.
No, like I'll get online if I can get them, great. If not, then maybe I just shouldn't have them.
Yeah, but no, sneaker culture has changed completely too, man. I really wish that it was a little different. I mean, I remember.
Can you point to like a favorite release, not necessarily even a colorway, but like a new shoe that was introduced or something like that? That was.
I like the way that the shoe styling is trending. Like, I don't care for 100% dad shoes, right? But I like there's that middle ground of them and like trainers, which is cool. Because as I get older, like I think a lot of the Jordans are bulky.
Yeah, they are.
They're big, clunky shoes, which they don't always all look good with. Like I wear sweats all the time, and they don't all look good with that.
They did with the Air Max this year, like a lot of, or this decade,
they've done a lot of because they've still continued with the 95s, the 97s. You know what I mean? Like,
and they take those 90s. And they remix them and they make like the 97 Vapor Max or some shit like that.
And that's what I was gonna say. Like they've changed. Now they've created that. They've done a fusion shoe kind of like where they got the 270s, the 720s, and
so you get the style, but you also get like today's technology in it and like the comfort.
I never jumped really on the bandwagon of the Adidas, even though I really did want a pair of Boosts. I still till this day never tried a pair of Boosts on.
I like Boosts, but they're a bit of like a narrow shoe, and my foot just it never feels too comfortable in those. And I'm always like, you know what? If they
I
were
feel like
cheaper,
that's an Adidas thing, then, right?
no,
They
Adidas
create
used to
narrow
make
shoes.
They used to make shoes that weren't narrow. Like Nike used to be more narrow. I remember, you know.
Okay.
I think it's just like the Boost specifically. It's kind of like it's more of like a because I think it's meant as a running shoe, right?
The Boost?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think Boosts are created for running, but they may be. I think you can run in them. I don't think they're 100%
Or they have like
running shoes.
variety of running shoes.
Yeah, because there's different levels of running. Like obviously, you got to make sure that if it's a running shoe, there's specifics to it. Like I think it's more of a lifestyle shoe.
I think another problem for me is the price tag, right? Because I would like those shoes are probably comfortable enough to make them an everyday shoe, but you don't want to wear them like that.
That's
'cause they're
one of my
expensive.
thing, man. Like shoes, their prices of shoes have gone up so crazy lately. Like that's the thing with Nike, man. Come on, Nike, for 180, I need to know that the quality of shoe I'm receiving is like $180 worth. Like
Right.
you're still making mad money off of it if you give me just a little bit more quality. And that's where my thing is with like Jordans. Like Jordans, they skimp on quality so often.
But
like,
they've like
for a shoe
they've
that costs
upgraded-
$220.
They've upgraded like some of the a lot of the ones which are 160. You know, they've like
The
upgraded
ones
the
they
leather
tend
on
to give
them.
really good like leather for some reason, but like other shoes, it's not so often that they do.
Yeah, I
You
would
know,
agree.
they release so many colorways of certain things that like it's hit or miss. Like, oh, I got this colorway and it was great quality, but this colorway was terrible. And
And I don't think it's necessarily even that. It's probably like a different from a box to box.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
you know.
you think about it, they're being stitched, but it's kind of like, remember, you know how you buy like a fitted from Lids,
Yeah,
and you have to try on different fitteds because they don't all fit
yeah.
the same.
7 3/8 feels different on this one to this one.
Yeah, like literally the same size
got a
fits
big
like
head.
different sizes. It's like the bucket of the hat will be a little bit deeper for some reason based on like because they're hand stitched.
Yeah.
They're all hand stitched.
Yeah, I don't know, and I think like it depends. Like these nines, right? This is what I got on today. I think their build is like the anthracite 9 or some shit. But it doesn't have the same feel as like the bread 9s. They're patent leather, and of course the leather makes a difference. But like this it doesn't look like a shoe to me that I would ever play ball in, right? Like if you didn't know anything about Jordans and you saw this, it wouldn't look like a basketball shoe. And it's just like certain versions of the 9s do,
It's
you
like
know?
boot like.
Right? Yeah, it's more. That's the vibe I get from it more than anything.
I get it.
So I don't know.
Boot like, but
So Jordan, I think the benefit that Jordan has now is that there are so many colorways of everything, and like they make different versions of the one, right? Like there's the retros, and then there's like all the other fucking ones that they put out. They can kind of freestyle with those a little bit, where the original, what is it now? 20. There was originally like 23 or 20. Is that how many they put out the first actual set?
no, I think they've continued straight through, man.
Yeah, I mean I know there's more, but like when Jordan was an active player, they didn't go much past the 23.
Well, I don't think he was active to 23.
I think he was because
That would imply from 84 to what? No, it's 84, 94. That's 2007.
yeah, but we were watching that Dream Team thing on Christmas, and he was wearing the 7s, I want to say, and that was what 92. So I mean, if they were pretty consistent with the every year release, it would. Oh, maybe he wasn't, but it was probably close.
I
But
think he played up
regardless-
until like the 18s,
Regardless, those actual like
or maybe the
retros,
20s.
those OGs and shit, like they have to stick to that colorway and whatever it is. So now that there is so many different variety of like a Jordan 9, for instance, or a Jordan 11, they can kind of mess around with the recipe a little bit.
I just stick to the OG colorways, man. At this
I
point,
prefer them, but I mean there are a lot of nice colorways that Jordan releases. So I don't know. I keep my mind open. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And fuck Finish Line for having Afterpay because I've been on their website.
I seen the
3
fucking.
hours this week.
I think I told you I seen a meme that said, "Let me find out that y'all sit out here paying a shoe note." That's funny as fuck to me.
It's funny, but it's gonna happen.
Most definitely, that's the way it's just gonna work out.
Yeah.
But man, it just goes to show you like all the things that's kind of changed over like the last decade, just the way the way they're facilitated and the way they operate,
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then you look at basketball, like it's crazy. Like Derrick Rose was on the Bulls and MVP Derrick Rose at 10 years ago.
Yeah.
and now he's he's 1, 2, 3 teams removed from the Bulls, and back on track to be just as good as he was back in the day.
Yeah.
But like if you didn't look at the middle years of this decade, you wouldn't see all the ups and downs and turmoil that he's gone through to get to where he's at now, which is crazy. So 10 years is a long time for certain
There was
things.
that like short period where he was on Cleveland, right? And he you pretty much thought, okay, well,
Oh, he took that leave of absence?
yeah, you're like, this is kind of
I thought he was going to retire.
His career,
I
but
thought that was it.
and I'm glad he came back and he's like actually doing well.
Yes.
We've talked about this many times,
Oh,
but
dude,
it's just always
we
nice
are
to see.
highly documented Derrick Rose supporters here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, sir.
So it's always nice to see. I mean, Detroit is doing terrible, but he's doing pretty well. So
Yeah, no, he's doing really well actually. He's doing pretty damn good this year.
yeah. I mean, then you look at the NBA, just the people who have retired in the last 10 years. People who are just no longer active players. It's pretty crazy. Of course, you got Tim Duncan being probably one of the most major ones to retire.
Oh, Tim Duncan retired. No, Tim Duncan. Kobe retired.
Paul Pierce,
Dirk
is technically still active right now,
Dwayne
right?
Wade. You thought that Melo was done, but he's back on track to be doing his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's been a lot of people.
There's been a lot of little retirements here and there, man. Like
The league is now much different than it was.
Everything
ago.
has changed, dude. Everything. The way the league is played, like now it's 30-foot 3-pointers. Crazy shit.
Yeah.
Centers are now playing like fucking point guards and shooting guards. It's the way that things have evolved is crazy.
And I don't want to sound too redundant because, I mean, of course, from decade to decade, things are going to change. But it's like there's a lot of changes even just within the decade,
Dude, for me, since 2010, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 different jobs.
Oh, the range.
The range, bitch. Hey, I've tried what I didn't like, and fuck it, I didn't want it. I'm leaving that shit in this decade. Actually, I'm leaving a lot of shit in this decade. Come 2020, your boy about to make these motherfucking moves. I got plans for this new decade, motherfucker.
Word. Yeah.
Motherfucker. Say word, son. Say word. They try to kill your father. Try to kill my father.
Yeah.
Got
Chappelle.
yellow cake. Yeah, look at that. Chappelle was gone for more than the decade, but he came back and listen. It ain't never too late to get back to what you used to do.
Don't call it a
to
comeback.
your shit. I've been here. Yeah.
If that doesn't tell you somebody doesn't know the lyrics. Opposite shout out to Glenn. Before I forget to do such things.
Yeah. What do you got going? What do you have? What is your plan or your vision for the upcoming year? And since it's the end of the 10-year, this decade, the coming decade, like what's on your docket?
Well, first things first. Me and my sister have, or our sister, just talking to the fans here, have been looking to find a place to move into together. Hopefully to buy, as long as things go accordingly. But so the first thing is getting my place back. Having chilling with the parents at school and all, but there's only so much of that I'm really trying to do after. I'm 30 now, so it's time for me to not be there again.
But you're 30 years old now, son. It's time for you to get out the house. Let Mama and Daddy walk around doing the dick and ball dance. If they
I
want.
try to walk around butt naked.
That's right. Gonna do it after I get home tonight.
Yeah, and then so after I get the new spot, of course, I want to evolve from a career standpoint. My job is cool and all, but I think I'm documented also as saying I like to not have to work for somebody. It's not ever trying to allow somebody else to determine your worth, which is my biggest argument with corporate America.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So career wise, I'm trying to get some that's pretty much how I expect things to go. I don't really. There's no marriage I want to be on the horizon. No kids. I'm 30 and I'm trying to keep it that motherfucking way. The only thing I might do is buy another dog and upgrade my car in the next 10 years.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So
No, man, that's what's up. I think for me, man, I'm just gonna chase in a new year and a new decade, and going forward, just fulfillment in what I do.
yeah.
Career wise.
Oh, we should also add and continue to provide A1 podcast content.
Right. Continue to only add to what we do here at the KKP.
Yep.
The new year should hold some pretty big changes and noticeable changes.
Maybe we should
But
start sharing more about ourselves on this show.
Maybe
so it's
so.
kind of like a memoir.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
This is our recorded history.
Yeah. But no, we will be. There are going to be some changes here that, although will remain the same, we are going to try to improve how you view us.
Yep.
And maybe the set and some other things as well. That's definitely the goal. We got this is episode 72, so 28 more weeks till we hit episode 100, and please believe we do have that on both of our dockets for the year.
Yeah.
Other than that, within my career, I'm really chasing the most efficient utilization of my time, man. I want to be creative, but I also want to be happy in what I'm doing. So,
of course,
this coming year, I've got some things I'm gonna step outside of my comfort zone.
I've been having difficulty talking the last 2 weeks, man. That 1 week off just threw you off.
You fucked me up. I'm still in episode 71, so I'm staggered. It's weird. But that's it, man. I really just want us to continue doing this, and we have talks about being more, even doing more creative content, whether on this channel or a channel onto itself. We're not sure yet, but we do have intentions of doing that. And just really enjoying life, man. Trying to remember to live in the day, in the moment.
Yeah.
Because it's hard and it's never promised. So
yeah, planning ahead is great, but you also got to just remember to
appreciate the things you have and what you've got going on now.
Right. I mean, you better keep a level of ambition. Growth is important too. So.
Yeah, I think it's hard, man. There's not with the way we are. It's we're creators. Where there's things about us that we want to dabble in things. We have so many things we'd like to fuck around with and do things with that. The structure of the 9 to 5 really puts a damper on those type of things.
Yeah, sure the fuck does. Puts a damper on a lot of goddamn shit.
Real shit, man. Being 9 to 5 is
40 prime hours of my week.
It's pressure, man. You wake up, you got to go do this for them, and at the end of it, you still have to have enough energy to do things for you, and it's not always there.
So always we'll go back and quote Jay with this, man. 9 to 5 is how you survive. I'm trying to survive.
Trying to live it to the limit and love it a lot.
Yeah, I thought that was just implied. If you don't know the lyric, then you just shouldn't know it.
No, you should know it. You should. No, but that's really all I got, man, for New Year's. I want to just progress and be in a better place.
I have quitting smoking on my docket.
You better quit smoking, you nasty fuck.
It's going to be a tough time in life,
It's not going to be that tough, man.
But hey,
it's about to be legal.
1/1/2020,
About 1/20/20.
1/1/2020.
1/1/2020?
Yes. Which is tomorrow if you're watching this.
Yes. But yeah, that's why. Dude, fuck all that. Stop smoking squares. That's no good. We're gonna start hooping in the new year. I'm gonna bring his fat ass along to come hoop with me.
Excuse you?
Me and Adam about to start training a little bit more again, because that's another love of my life, man. Hooping was supposed to be the thing, and it just never was. But it's something I don't want to leave at all. So that's another thing, man. Chasing happiness and fulfillment. We know that the court always brought happiness, so why not bring that back into the year 2020?
Then I look at, and shout out to
2020 vision, man. That's really what it is. A 2020 vision for this year.
Even though it sounds cheesy as fuck. Yes, I hear you. Then I look at like Dave's dad, for instance, right? And shout out to Ralph. Dude's still on the court fucking ripping it, every week.
It causes him happiness every week. It may hurt, but he loves it, and that's where I want to be back in. When it's all said and done, I want to have the ability to be able to play leisurely. Like
Yeah.
you can't get the things that. Listen, if you're happy where you're at, and not to say it's mediocre, but like to say there's levels of life, right? And if you're okay in the level you're at, then that's fine.
Right.
For me, there's just things
Everything
I
ain't
aspire.
for everybody, you know.
Right. There's things I aspire to be and do and be able to influence.
There's a certain quality of life that I would like to be leading.
Yeah. So it's not for everybody, and some don't understand, as I don't always understand where you can be complacent in certain areas of life. But
Mutual disagreement.
it is what it is. But I just know that this year coming up, I'm going to really try to chase some of those dreams, and hopefully you guys come along and enjoy it with us, and we
Right.
can document a little bit more of it as well.
But this is kind of like the, documenting our path anyway, because y'all are growing with us, we're growing with you. So as we make things happen, you'll definitely know about it, and we're definitely happy to have you all along for the journey. So
Indeed, just know we're going to keep providing this with you for every Tuesday morning.
Yep.
Providing Adam doesn't fuck up the editing or all that.
I mean, shit.
We're only looking to provide a little bit more quality in any way we can.
Right.
Always looking to improve, man. So end of the year.
And as soon as we figure out how to make this fucking music hearable in our headphones as well as on the camera, we're gonna bring that upgrade as well.
Indeed.
So
I just want to say at the end of the year, man, I'm thankful for those who tune in and watch, and all the subscribers we have.
yeah,
And all the people that maybe you subscribe later and you come back to this episode. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for checking us out and realizing that we have something to offer.
and tell your friends.
Tell your mamas,
Tell your mamas.
their grandmothers.
They might enjoy it. I don't know. Who knows?
Old ladies listen to podcasts.
What else do they do?
You can't talk to these old ass ladies like that. You're using the Lord's name for selling pussy on this corner. I know you.
But yeah, man, for sure. So just happy New Year to everybody out there.
Indeed.
Hope y'all enjoy and stay safe, and
Stay safe.
remember to have some money in your pocket to bring some good fortune for the next year.
Yeah, don't go blowing all your money on New Year's just to
I just meant
to
like
show out for a day.
Everybody hates Chris tradition. Just keeping $100 in your pocket. As the new year comes in, to bring prosperity.
Yeah, something like that.
Some shit.
No, but honestly, just instead of New Year's resolutions, make declarations, man. Declare you're gonna do something.
True.
Instead of diets, make lifestyle
Don't declare
changes.
bankruptcy.
That's I declare bankruptcy. He's like that's not nothing. I yelled it, but that's not nothing.
Still nothing.
No. Instead of diets, lifestyle changes, man. Diets don't work. They're temporary. Lifestyle changes, those are the ones that, you form habits that hopefully last for a very long time.
True.
Adam's going to stop smoking cigarettes. Maybe some of y'all smoke, hit him up, motivate each other, because that ain't great for you. Thank you for watching, man. We love y'all.
Yeah, another great New Year's to go by with the KKP.
Right, it's the second annual New Year's show. It's been pretty uncohesive.
Actually, we didn't really talk about anything that anybody really probably cares about, but we care about it. And I think when we started the show, of course, we wanted to be still active at this point, but the fact that we're still active at this point
every week is dope.
Is important to
it's
me,
dope because there's not a lot of folks that there's a lot of podcasts that we know of, people we know that have started some podcasts that haven't lasted even a short percentage of the time compared to what we have. We didn't know that we'd be as consistent, or if we would be able to be as consistent as we have.
It allows for, at least over the last year and some change, almost a year and a half, right? We've been able to get together every week, so it's nice to be able to do that. But yeah, man, I know there's people who we know in person who watch it and just appreciate it. Anybody who doesn't know who we are is watching it. That's great.
Right. That's the coolest thing, to think that there's people we don't know that are actually watching. And we appreciate you, man. But hopefully in this coming year we'll acquire some more in the KKP.
We'll bloom.
The KKP brigade.
Peacock, goddammit.
Are we
you gotta let me fly.
My first desk pop. What are we? The KKP brigade? The KKP squad?
Is that what we are?
Like they are. To
No,
us.
they're KKP's tots. I told you this.
KKP's tots.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll like to be called tots, but tots are delicious.
Tots
so,
are delicious.
yeah. But
You guys
not
are all
the-
delicious.
Not those kind of tots.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, regardless.
But either way,
KKP's
all I
toddies.
was getting at, that's terrible. We're gonna come up with a better one. But hopefully the
I told them I want them to choose their name, but
well,
for now,
motherfucker, they're in
it's a
enough.
placeholder. You
well,
know? So just
regardless,
come-
hopefully the squad grows next year is really what we're getting.
Squad up.
You heard? But yeah, hopefully next year we grow in numbers and we can create a community of people that have such a like-minded way of thinking that you maybe you could build friendships on
Unless
our
we
platform.
can get every 130 of you to commit to this, and we can have like a live show and just talk to you like that. We're trying to get big enough to have live shows. You know?
Yeah, I mean that'd be cool, obviously, but we don't want to have a live show for like our mom and dad.
Right.
They won't even come anyway.
We have some plans for some content involving them as well. So be on the lookout.
Stay tuned for the new year, y'all.
Yes. Happy New Year. Stay safe tonight. Go turn up, but make sure you have a way home.
Yes, sir. Uber if you're buzzed, bro. I mean, it's not even.
We're gonna know if
worth
our
it.
numbers went down. Why? So
Yeah.
just be careful.
Indeed,
Stupid.
indeed.
But yeah, we're gonna holler at y'all on episode 73 for our first of 2020. And we promise we're probably still not gonna have anything to talk about. So
Yep. As
Yeah.
always.
yep.
Happy New Year's, y'all.
Holla.
Peace.